Hi everybody, my name's Robert Nunez. I'm the principal tuba player with Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra, and I'm here to help you with tips for the LMEA All-State Tuba Audition, Set 1. Okay, and we're going to start with number 27, which is marked Allegro, piano in the beginning. We'll get back to that in a second. It really is a technical exercise in 5/8, right? So the eighth note gets the beat. So I'll tell you, the metronome mark that I like to use is eighth note equals 150 or through 160. That span of metronome marks, because I think that works the best. It doesn't have to be incredibly fast. You know, if you're going to play it fast, you better play it accurate. So if you want to go with 150, that's fine. You know, they don't give you a specification. The state doesn't. LMEA doesn't. So it's pretty much up to you. Now, don't forget that the eighth note gets the beat when you mark your metronome mark numbers. Now, it's in B minor. So, you know, you have to learn all of your major scales, but you also have to learn your minor scales eventually. You know, this piece is in B minor, for example. So it's a great idea to start working on your minor scales. There are three forms, you know, natural, harmonic, melodic. Knowing them all is going to help you play this music better, or any piece, or in sight reading. Okay, so learn your scales, practice them slowly at first, and increase speed. Practice them with a metronome. What better thing to do to work on your sense of rhythm, your inner sense of rhythm and timing? Okay, that's the way to do it. You'll get much better at it. So start slow on the scales, practice for results. Program the biocomputer with the right information, the right fingerings, right? All the articulation needs to be clean on the way up, it's slurred on the way down. That's the LMEA standard, if you notice on all the sheets that they've provided. B minor, right? All right, so being able to play that scale is going to help you in this piece in B minor. This piece is in B minor, yeah? Now, measures 20 through 22, watch the accidentals, right? You have, right, number 21, let's say, you have E sharp, G sharp, right? Then you have E natural tied over the line there, okay? And then the next measure you have G sharp. Now, don't forget about the rule of accidentals. The rule of accidentals is that accidental or sharp or whatever it is, unless otherwise indicated, is good throughout the measure. So if you play the G sharp there in that measure, measure 22, and you come back to it on the last note, make sure it's G sharp again. See? So if you remember that rule of accidentals, you can't go wrong, including sight reading. It's the best time you need to think about that. Look at measure 23. You have a G natural there, right? So that changes. And then the 26, we have the A sharp, right? And then I put a ritardando in that bar, okay, leading up to the fermata. Why? Look at the next bar. Look at measure 27. It's tempo 1. So even though the Blazhevich didn't write a ritardando or rallentando or anything, it's implied. Okay, when he puts tempo 1 in that next measure, he's letting you know, go ahead and slow up a little bit. Do a ritardando to the fermata, take your time, and then go on back to tempo 1. Okay, let's look at measure, let's go through measures like 50, 51, right? Yeah, let's say 50. Okay, you have G sharp, A sharp, right? Okay, look at the next bar, second to last bar of the piece. Okay, G natural. You got to catch these things. You can't miss these things. So when you practice this piece, number 27, start very slow, especially on these problem sections with all the accidentals. Program the biocomputer for results. Program the biocomputer for results. It's only where you're going to get this, excuse me, accurately. So let me play, well, we'll start from the beginning and go through measure 16. I'll play that little intro. Okay. Now let's do, just to cover, let's start at measure 19 and I'll play through the fermata bar, okay? You can go do a decrescendo on that fermata and then continue, right? It's totally fine. Okay, let's do the last line. Let's start at measure 48 to the end. So I kind of like to play maybe a little crescendo on that last note. This is the end, a little crescendo, let them know this is it. I kind of like to do that. We could decrescendo, but we already did that earlier, right? So a little variation never hurts anything, Now, another thing I want to tell you about is have a breathing plan for this piece and all pieces that you play. Every solo, etude, anything you play, it's a great idea to have breathing spots marked. And the former tuba player at Los Angeles Philharmonic, I attended a master class he gave, I played for him, and he told me, have a breathing plan for everything. Best advice I ever got from Roger Bobo. So come up with a breathing plan and stick to it. If it doesn't work, you can change it. Do it in pencil, right? Another thing is, let's talk about dynamics in this piece, number 27. It starts at piano. Are there any real indications from Blazhevich other than piano? I see piano at the beginning. I don't see any hairpins, crescendo, decrescendos, nothing really marked. So what do? Do we play the whole thing piano? No. We come up with a plan, a musical plan, a phrasing, crescendo, decrescendo. I even mark phrase marks. I mark all my hairpins, whatever I'm going to do. I have a plan. It's on this sheet right now. So I stick with that. Have a plan. Don't be afraid to express and play and show them what you can do musically. Come up with a plan. Get with a teacher who knows what they're doing, ask them about a plan. Okay. Now, I'd like to go to number 28. Okay, so now this one starts out, by the way, it's an E flat major, right? That's in your scale sheets that you have to play for the audition. You have to play all your scales. So make sure they're clean on the way up, slurred on the way down, have a great sound when you play it, just move the wind, man. Move the wind. In this 28, it's Andante semplice. So in Italian, that basically means semplice. It's moderate, easy flowing, and Andante, going, moving, but not real fast, right? So semplice really just means simple, natural, unaffected style. So those two words together give you an idea of the character of the piece, right? So I like to do the metronome mark here of quarter note equals between 80 and 84. Just my suggestion. It's not etched in stone. That's the way to do it. Just how I do it. Now, look, first measure, we have the Italian term. We have piano, right? But we also have dolce. Dolce means sweetly. So between that, andante semplice, okay, all these Italian terms that we have to learn, and you can buy little pocket dictionaries, by the way, to look up these terms. You could probably look up online nowadays, but I kind of like the old-fashioned small little pocket books because I think Schirmer, the company, sells one. It's great for these kinds of things. Okay. Another thing in this piece is the grace notes. Don't ignore the grace notes, okay? When you play these grace notes, just make sure that they're played so you can hear them. I view grace notes, it's ornamentation, right? It's like icing on the cake, so to speak, you know? And so play them so they can be heard. I'm going to give you an example in a second about how to play these. Now, let's see, measure 29, right, 29. Blazhevich does mark a ritardando in this one, leading up to that fermata, right? And then he does have tempo 1. I don't know if he forgot it in 27 or he wanted to see, you know, what the student would do. Maybe he was a little bit ahead of what we thought here, and he wanted the student to, you know, understand that you have to do a ritardando without marking it. I would maybe give him that credit, you never know. We also have another ritardando, measure 44, before the last line, which is 45 there, tempo 1 to the end. We have another rallentando, which is very similar in meaning to ritardando, okay? You do the same thing. It's gradually slowing up, right? Slowing down. Okay, so take your time on the end and make it sound really nice. I like to do a little, I do a little taper on the end. In this style, I just think it's a little more nuanced, you know, and then the 27 is more technical in nature. This one, I typically on the fermatas, I just kind of do a nice little taper down, you know. So I'll play a few spots in this one so you can get an idea, okay? And again, having a plan, breathing plan, dynamic phrasing plan, and this is everything. Mark everything. Get with the teacher who will help you come up with that plan. All right, so I'll play from the beginning through, let's go through measure 16. All right. So if you noticed, let's see, measure 15, 14 and 15. In 14, you have a crescendo. You heard me do that crescendo going into forte, right? Now it's upper register. It will speak very nicely without any, you know, problems really. If you just move plenty wind, but it has to be there. So anything on the page, that's a case where Blazhevich was clear. He wants that crescendo to forte, right? So that's what it did. All right, let's do, I'm going to play a little bit of the, let's see, let's start at measure 25, and I'll play through that fermata so you get a sense of how I pace that ritardando right there before the next tempo 1, right? Let's, okay, so I like to just taper it down to nothing. Nice nuance, very, you know, very subtle, it just goes down. And you're back to tempo 1, the next bar. And let's do, finally, let's do, yeah, right before tempo 1, let's do that bar. I'll do 2 bars before the tempo 1, which is 43, 44, yeah, let's do that. 43, 44, I start at 43. Okay, so that's the piece in a nutshell, you know, and I just want to say that, you know, singing is really an important part of learning how to play a brass instrument. Buzzing on the mouthpiece second is very important, and then playing's last. Sing, mouthpiece, play is my credo. That's what I live by as a professional still. I still do that. I still use my voice a great deal. If I'm having a little problem with something, you know, not hearing it, I'll sing it, make sure I have it in my brain. The seventh cranial nerve connection, it will work, you know. If you sing, you buzz, get the buzzing going from the concept in the brain, and then putting it in the resonator, it will work. You know, program for results, it's everything. Consistent daily practice. If you want to be really good, you have to practice smart. You have to come up with a good practice regimen, all right? Give yourself a chance to get better. Believe in yourself. Self-growth is very tender. I want you to remember that. So you have to give yourself a chance. And thank you very much for listening to this video. I hope it helps. Take care, everybody.